Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman of the People's National Movement, Mr. Franklin Khan, Deputy Political Leader, Mr. Rohan Singanan, Policy, Ms. Marlene MacDonald, Legislative, Mr. Orville London, Tobago Affairs, and Mrs. Joan Yule Williams, Party and Election. Supporters of the People's National Movement, invited guests, my darling wife Sharon, fellow citizens all of Trinidad and Tobago. On this day, the 29th of March, on the anniversary of the passing of Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, we gather here to remember our founding father of the People's National Movement and of the nation of Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Williams was a visionary who taught us so much, gave to so many, and took so little of us for himself. Suffice it to say that he pointed us in the right direction of nationhood, with history lessons of self-discovery, economic lessons to grow our national wealth, and lessons of tolerance, fairness, and respect that preserved and strengthened the social fabric of the multi-ethnic and multi-religious Caribbean nation of Trinidad and Tobago. I am humbled and honored to speak to you today about the great opportunity that lies before our nation. As many of you may know, I got my start in my professional life as a geologist. I was trained to understand the origins of the earth, to study its complex elements and appreciate how the fusion of its raw materials are stronger and more resilient together. In the study of geology, we learned that the strongest, brightest minerals are those formed when the intense heat and overwhelming pressure are applied to the humblest element, carbon, deep inside the earth. The outcome is sometimes a diamond that is more beautiful and enduring than other individual elements or compounds. In like manner, we, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, are like one diamond with many facets. Ours is a brilliant, blended nation, forged from generations, fueled by hope, ingenuity, and pure grit, with boundless faith in our destiny. Whether our roots emerge from the soil of India, Africa, China, the Middle East, or Europe, our soul is pure Trinidad and Tobago. Whether we are Muslim, Christian, traditional, or full gospel, Shango, Hindu, or Risha, whatever we are Trinidad and Tobago. Whether we are PNM, COP, UNC, ILP, MSJ, or undecided, we are Trinidad and Tobago. We are always and will always be one Trinidad and Tobago, one diamond with many facets. Throughout the Caribbean, stretching from all the way to New York, to London, Toronto, Hong Kong, or New Delhi, our people and our culture frequently ignite the spirit of the world I have walked the suburbs of Sinclair and the industrial centers around San Fernando. I've walked West Moorings. I saw one Trinidad and Tobago. From Laventille to Princestown, I see Trinidad and Tobago. It is the strength of our origins under the pressure of our circumstances that we have emerged a rock-solid nation, united. Whatever our circumstances, we are all in this together. But we still have much work to do. As a nation, we have not yet realized the full measure of our promise. Our first step is that we must reform our government and transform how it serves our people. Where the current government has led us in the wrong direction, we'll change that. It is burdened with rampant corruption, arrogance, and the public's distrust of government is unprecedented and very worrisome. In my walks, meetings, and consultations, there are two constants in every conversation: a desire for change and the aspiration that we can be better than we're being now. I see in the past 5 years a government that has scornfully disconnected our people. And there now exists a disconnect between the people and the government. The people have become increasingly alienated by the indecency, the arrogance, the unbridled greed, and the corruption of the offices of state, and they are numbed by the Prime Minister's tolerance and her protection of those who fail us so miserably. In order to bring about real change, we must put the people first. The citizens of Trinidad and Tobago must be at the center of the process of governing, and our leaders must see this as their only mission. We must choose leaders who choose the people over themselves. Leaders with vision, character, and integrity. Leaders that have the will to do what is right. Leaders that will protect, serve, and be true to the wider public interests and not serve themselves and their interests from the public treasury and other national resources. Therefore, our choice, our responsibility as the sons and daughters of this great land is to choose leaders of strong character, fairness, and integrity, who had made the choice of putting the people first. Leaders who see us as equals, as our faith teaches us. No one of us more important than the other. Leaders that listen, take action, and hold themselves responsible for the outcome of those actions. We must choose leaders who understand our aspirations and those who would also hear our cries when we are suffering. 34 years ago, as we gather here today to honor the memory of the first leader of this great party and of this nation, which he did so much to birth and to shape, a man who exhibited all the qualities that I've just mentioned, qualities which he portrayed in the beginning of our journey, qualities that are so desperately needed today. As we prepare ourselves to exercise our fundamental rights, to choose and shape our next government through our nation's vote, I want you to know I'm listening and I hear you. What I hear you saying is that you want unity. I hear you rejecting racism, nepotism, and hate. I hear you rejecting indecency in all its forms. I hear you saying that you want a clean campaign. Robustly fought without bitterness, rancor, or spite. And I hear you saying that you're willing to respect the outcome, whatever it is, as long as the elections are free and fair. What I hear you saying is that you want accountability from your government. You want transparency in all its actions. You want safety, security, and prosperity. And you want to trust your government to serve you, not to rob you. I hear you. You want a real and sustainable economic opportunity without discrimination because of class, race, religion, or geography. I hear you. You want leaders to focus on your ambitions, not theirs, and dedicate their heart and their soul to yours, like Dr. Williams did. You want one Trinidad and Tobago. If you allow this PNM to lead the next government and give me the opportunity to serve as your next Prime Minister, I will lead this great nation by fighting for our shared values, and I'll uphold your sacred trust. Together, we will boldly confront all the challenges that we face. But this cannot happen unless we root out corruption that has plagued our country for far too long. And when it resides so comfortably within the government, we have to start there. It is not okay to cut corners, make false promises, squander public resources, and diminish funding for vital economic programs designed to train and employ thousands of Trinidadians and Tobagonians who desperately want to work at a job commensurate with their qualifications. As a nation, we should take pride in our strong middle class. Yet, there remains, sprinkled throughout our Trinidad Republic, areas that are drowning in crime, illiteracy, and chronic unemployment and underemployment. We must address the issues of Beetham and train line in San Fernando, Laventil and Enterprise. We must address the aspirations of Felicity and Point Fortin, Caroni and La Brea. Too many Trinidadians and Tobagonians feel as if there is no refuge from their crushing circumstances. Too many amongst us feel that their best days are not ahead of them. What does it say about our country and its leadership if we continue to allow these conditions to fester, to continue with ever-increasing hopelessness, as if the challenges they present are beyond our ability to cope? I want to tell all the people that have lost hope that their best days are ahead of them. To keep their chin up and get ready to work for change. Get ready to play your part in a Trinidad and Tobago that welcomes and acknowledges your positive contribution, whatever that might be, and wherever you might make it. I believe that Parliament is much more than a bicameral body of 72 elected officials. At our core, we are our brothers and our sisters' keeper. In office, we must serve each and every citizen, treating each one fairly, no matter their location or party affiliation. Insofar as our party tie cause some challenge or commitment to this ideal, I have calmed affairs without surrendering our symbol. I have taken off my tie. This is not only our moral responsibility, but it's the oath we take as parliamentarians to uphold the Constitution and the law without fear or favor, without malice or ill will. Our role as elected MPs are the seats on which our entire democracy rests. We are the people's champion, their advocates. It is why elections matter. It is why good government matters. It is why the People's National Movement, the PNM, matters. Putting the people first in our name, it's our legacy. It's not a slogan. It's not a motto. It's in our name, the People's National Movement. If it falls to no one in this nation, it falls to us. It is our job to fiercely protect the integrity, viability, and efficacy of the Parliament. It is also the responsibility of our government to serve as ethical stewards for all state-regulated institutions, the ministries, central bank, the police service, the local government offices, among others. When ethical behavior raises its ugly head, your government has the responsibility to take decisive action. Your government has the responsibility to demand transparency and hold office holders publicly accountable to the people they are sworn to protect. A government which has had to replace dozens of its members in its first term due to incompetence or corruption is not a government working for you, the people. It's a government working for itself at the expense of the people. And this is why I'm committed to reviewing all our anti-corruption laws. And we've committed to early enactment of a workable whistleblower legislation and to operating a smaller cabinet led by people of proven competence with the right mix of skills, experience, and integrity to get the job done well. Notwithstanding what anybody tells you, whoever they are, prime minister, minister, or the local smart man, corruption erodes the foundations of our institutions. And there's a price to be paid by every single one of us. It's a crime against the moral contract of our democracy. We must reject this notion of corruption as a way of doing business, as a way of life. Firstly, reject it out of hand. Some of us, with the high crime rates that we have around, have had experiences of crimes in our homes, our cars broken into, our businesses broken into. We've experienced theft in some form. You would recall how violated and powerless you felt, how you questioned the absence of order in the society. Now imagine we have elected and appointed public officials whose first and only concern every day is to spend taxpayers' money as if it is their very own to do with as they please. It is outrageous that we have had to endure this brutal kleptocracy, which is expert kleptocrats heading billion-dollar ministries and state enterprises, accumulating personal wealth as though it is a perk of office. Under my watch, it will not be business as usual. We will strengthen the institutions on which our democracy depends. We will significantly improve our systems of accountability. The taxes you pay are to improve your lives. The natural resources of this country belong to you, the people, not the government officials. And they are there to improve your children's lives and secure their future, not to be flaunted by high-flying thieves. As I travel across our country, from the shores of Mayaro to the street corners of San Fernando, I hear your utterances about morally bankrupt leadership. I hear about the values of the country being frayed under the current prime ministership. I see the toll that crime is taking on our society and our economy. As one of the Caribbean's strongest economies and the world's 5th leading producer of natural gas, we cannot allow the scourge of street gangs, drug dealers, money launderers, and other white-collar criminals to stifle our progress and discourage investment, whether it's foreign or domestic. It is unthinkable that 6 neighborhoods surrounding our capital city of Port of Spain account for over half of all murders in our country. The blood must stop flowing as we develop the rest of the country, with our capital city being a place that engenders a national sense of pride for the upliftment of the economy and the presentation of a reflection of the soul of the nation. How can we expect an increase in investment, which leads to more resources, that creates better jobs, if we cannot give the business community the confidence that they need to continue making long-term investments? What message does the scourge of crime and the underperformance of the police service send to our young people? What message that ministers and permanent secretaries involved in live sport could slither off to enjoying the spoils of stolen tax dollars with no questions asked? That a man could be paid $34 million for a contrived contract and did not deliver as much as a paperclip, and when challenged, has the unmitigated gall to say, "Leave me alone, or I will talk about who else was involved with me." And the nation is satisfied with that. And those responsible facilitators in the cabinet just move on to hatch the next scandal and to tell you who is fit or who is not fit for office. And to make ads to tell you they need more time to do more of that. I think not. What does that say to young people about the future of our country and the requirement for them to work, save, and invest for the bright future that this country should be holding out to them? Far too many of our youth are lost Without sustainable jobs, a proper education, and competitive job and life skills, some are giving their lives away to violent gangs, drug lords, and drugs. They need to hear a sincere call to a hopeful future. I make that call now. It does not matter where you live, what you do, or if your family is rich or poor. There is an inexorable connection between all Trinidadians and Tobagonians. Our lives are inextricably linked, just like the tapestry of our multi-ethnic society. The future of a child in East Port of Spain matters to all our futures. The death of a child in East Port of Spain is part of our future. The fate of the local store owner robbed in Siparia is the fate and robbery of all of us. The pain of a father struggling to find work and provide for his family in Laventille is our pain. The humiliation and despair of a mother in Carenage who cannot afford food for her children is our hunger and our humiliation. The anxiety of our young people facing a dormant job market and the draw of gang violence is everyone's anxiety. We are a proud nation with an economy that should be energized by economic growth and fertile soil of fresh ideas. We have the strong foundation and collective will to give all our citizens an opportunity to work towards realizing their fullest potential. These are the reasons why we face such an important choice on election day, whenever it is called, sooner rather than later. I want to say at this point that I have been in politics and public life for over 30 years. And I know that not everyone agrees with me, likes me, or will vote for me. But as your Prime Minister, like I did as leader of the opposition, as Minister of Government in the various ministries, that I would act with all the necessary caution, care, and decisiveness to serve you all, always true to the oath of office. I would be a Prime Minister of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Despite our differences, we all share great hope and love of our country. The color of our skin should not form the limits of our opportunity in life. What God we pray to should not prevent us from showing love and kindness to one another. This is a call that we stand up and repair the ethical and moral character of Trinidad and Tobago, this great nation which has been damaged almost beyond recognition. As it was in the days and dreams of Dr. Eric Eustace Williams, so it remains today. We want the best education and jobs for our children. We want a nation that will fulfill its promise as a global leader in energy, manufacturing, banking, finance, and arts, with all the good jobs and the new businesses that will flow from that. Now, we may not always agree on how to get there, But the father of a nation, Dr. Eric Williams, who left us 34 years ago, built us a solid foundation and set us on course for the growth of a better nation. We must not fail. We cannot afford to fail. Our rich history is a testament to the heights that we can reach and the obstacles that we can overcome. If only we work together. We can work together for the better of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And we can do this side by side, arm in arm, because we're all in this together. Life on earth, and like its earth, we are forged from the strongest elements to become one. Our diamond, sweet TNT, is indeed more beautiful because it has emerged from pain, from struggle, and from the successes of our colorful past. And now we are ready for a future, bright and prosperous. But we need to work harder and embrace change, because what brought us to where we are today may not be enough to get us to where we want to go. Greater effort is required for the great rewards that lie ahead, not only for you and for me, but for our children and grandchildren. At every fork in the road, it has been our individual sacrifice, coupled with a collective spirit, that has triumphed. But as it was with Dr. Williams and the team he led, where there are always choices to be made, success or failure depends on what choice we made standing at the crossroad. In 2015, once again, Trinidad and Tobago is at the crossroad. And as the Calypsonian advises us in song, we just can't go on this way. I believe we can seize the future together because we are not as divided as some would suggest. We, acting as a people, are greater than our individual ambitions and our personal or ethnic agendas. We can come together without waiting for the periodic tragedy to force us into each other's arms to show caring and grace. We are one family. We must lift each other or fall together as one nation, as one people who succeeded together or failed to achieve as a result of national bickering or loss of self-confidence. As one Trinidad and Tobago, the one that Dr. Eric Williams dreamt of, the nation he loved and gave his life to build. Today we say thanks and commit to keeping the wonderful Williams dream alive. And the day ahead, we celebrate with our fellow citizens, Chowta Baptist, Spiritual Baptist, on Liberation Day. Let's liberate all ourselves and wish our colleagues happy Liberation Day for Trinidad and Tobago. I love you all. And may God bless Trinidad and Tobago.